This is the GC Creativity Series.
You know, living in the mountains is an incredibly inspiring place. I think the sense of space and the permanence of the mountains, but the beauty of the landscape and the changeability. A lot of my work is informed by nature. I do a lot of landscape work, specifically trees and mountains, but I also love the birds and the animals that live here. So you can see a lot of the corvids, the ravens, the jays, and you know, I find them to be survivors, and I think I love that about where we live. And it is a harsh environment, but it's an abundant environment, and I think that's, you know, to me, the beauty and the abundance in the area that we live in is just so inspiring. As an artist, I think that's really key to what I do. So basically I'm trying to get a nice sort of thin layer of ink on the glass. And then this is the medium that I've carved. It's a rubber medium that I use for printmaking cards. Each of the cards is hung up to dry. You can see I have other cards here, and that's because the ink is still wet and will remain wet for 2 to 3 days. So it needs to hang up to dry and before I can actually package them for sale. Printing is actually using the sun for a method of exposing paper that's been treated with chemicals. Basically, it's a particular type of paper, like blueprints, and you use the sun to make the exposure of the print, and it's like an old-time photographic process, really. So this I've used just transparency that I had made, and we'll put that on the sheet and let the sun do its magic. Now we'll put this over in the bath. You can see that it's burnt it into the paper. So you can see that the water just stops the process from occurring. And so it'll sit in the water bath for a minute. You know, I love the idea of kind of harnessing the sun as a way of making prints and using the natural environment, because that was such a big part of my family growing up, and my dad skied at Mount Norquay before there were lifts, and you know, really it was a love of the Rockies that was instilled in him when he was little as well. So it's kind of neat to use the natural process and the Canmore sun. One of the things I hope to do is my art will inspire in people the beauty of the area we live in and make them, you know, want to come here or love living here. But I think the other thing is just living a creative life and the inspiration of the fact that you can do it. You have to make choices in your life, but living a creative life is you know, a beautiful life. It's a full life. And you know, we always have that notion of the starving artist, but I like to break that archetype, because I think, you know, it's not necessarily true. You know, if we don't follow that path, for me, if I hadn't followed it, I would have starved in other ways. So I think that's the beauty of living an artist's life, and for people to know that we're all creative creatures. And we can be creative without being an artist. Gardeners are creative, you know, food service people are creative, you know, chefs are creative. So just to honor the creativity in ourselves, I think that make it a richer world, really. We have artist Playdates where we take one day a month where we actually go outside of our medium. So I don't do printmaking, she doesn't do painting. We come together and we try collage, or we'll try something different, like the sun printing actually was born out of that process as well. And that for us is just to forget about being productive and just play with the medium of art, and that to me has been one of the most beautiful things that happens in a collaborative space.